how am I opening the crack now for disrespect to set into my relationship and dishonor her? How? How do you make meals for your kids because you do it every day and now you think, oh, it's no more special? You're beginning to get familiar with the routine. You're beginning to get familiar with it. So even with your relationship with God, you can let familiarity set in. You know the way God talks to you, yeah? So you think you figured him out. You know, sometimes you can be familiar with God even with a song. You heard a song playing the other day, and in a moment in the song, you felt a very great connection with God. Next thing is that the next time that song is playing, you are looking forward to feeling the connection in that same moment again. You have boxed in to what is familiar to you. So you have reduced reference, you have reduced honor. Familiarity will do that to your relationship and it will begin to cause crack. Then you will get to the point where you will now say, it always baffles me when our spouse would open a door for us to pass through and we pass without saying thank you. And we'll go to a hotel or a restaurant and somebody will open the door for us and we say thank you. You know, it baffles me a lot when I do that. I do that too. I do that sometimes. I mean, not so much now anyway, but I used to do that a lot before. I don't know if you have done that yourself before or you've experienced it when somebody else does that. How we seem to be very nice to strangers, and for some reason, the people we say we love, we are not so nice to them. What happens is, how often we say thank you even to our parents for providing a meal. How often we say thank you to our spouse. Our spouse might just leave and become to us a provider and a caregiver, and that's like their job description. We don't get to say thank you for the things they do anymore. And that happens when familiarity sets in. So today, we're going to be talking about this mindset that we unconsciously let into our lives called familiarity, and how it can provide cracks in our relationship and help give you practical tools on how you can overcome them in your relationship. You know, what's familiarity? Familiarity is defined as, or can be defined as, overcomfort that causes us to take people that we love for granted, leading to a loss of honor and respect. So familiarity can be defined as overcomfort in a situation that causes us to take people that we love for granted, leading to a loss of honor and respect. You can also see familiarity as something that blinds us to see the value and uniqueness in the people that we love. And this, like I said, it's happened to me a few times. You know, you might even wake up and not say good morning to your spouse because you know they're always there. One of the things that gets me the most is when people say things like, you would have heard the phrase, you don't know what you have until you lose it, or you don't value what you have until you lose it. And we say that as if it is a badge of honor, or as if it is a normal way of living, whereas it is abnormal to not value what you have and only wait until that thing is lost before you lose it. You know, I read of a celebrity recently who had a divorce with his wife, and they've been divorced for a while now. And recently, I don't know if he's the one that posted it, I saw it as a repost, but he was saying that the kitchen touch is empty without the wife, the bed is empty without her, the house feels different that she's not around, that he loves her, he will always love her, the bed has been undefiled since she left, and you know, now it's dawning on him even how much value she brought to his life, even now that she has left, than he realized when she was around, and he misses her. And it sounds like a romantic thing to say, but in actuality, if you think about it, it's not. You know, you are with somebody, you are in a relationship, you are helping somebody's working for you in the office, and you are taking them for granted. You know, you just think that nothing will happen, and suddenly one day they up and leave, and you go to meet them to say, "Oh, I really miss you. You know, you were so great. I didn't know I'm going to change." You know, that's what familiarity does. It pushes you to that extent where you lose what you are supposed to keep, because when you had it, you didn't value it enough. So familiarity helps you blinds you to their uniqueness and their gifts, and it makes you treat them with that respect and honor. And we even see in the Bible where this happens to Jesus. Jesus is with his disciples, and we pick up the story, and he starts sharing how he goes from town to town, healing people, teaching them the kingdom principle, helping them find light and joy and access to their life. And he gets to his hometown, and the Bible records in Mark that he could do no mighty miracle because he was in his hometown, and familiarity made them to disrespect him. They didn't value what he was saying. They didn't value his teaching. They didn't value him. His brothers, even at some point, were whispering among themselves, saying, "Oh, they're looking for you in the temple. Won't you go?" And he ignores them to say, "Don't worry." Then he later left. They were teasing him because they grew up with him. They saw him when he had not come to his fullness. And now that he was in his fullness, they could not reconcile the child they knew and this version they were seeing now. In your marriage, it could even be the flip case. Or in your friendship, it could be the flip case. Your friend is always there for you, and now you take it for granted. Your friend is always there for you, so you call them anytime and you think they'll always be available. You're with your siblings, and everything that you're trying to do with them is constantly undermining what their achievements, constantly trying to compete with them. Meanwhile, you are not going to always. Do you realize, as siblings, you won't always live together forever? There will be times and seasons when you guys grow up and you need to go explore the world differently, and occasionally you get to come back. Hopefully, even if you grow up from a family where you all have a very huge property and everybody's house are situated, but you won't always be in the same roof forever. But you take those moments for granted, and we all do, and this happens because of familiarity. We get so used to the people. You get so used to your husband. You've seen them naked, you've seen their shortfalls, you've seen their shortcomings, you've seen areas they're not so good at, and you start taking them for granted. These people now fart in your presence. You know the smell of their fat. You can tell it from a mile that this is you. Whoa! This person that you know they are fat is not the person that you are suddenly supposed to treat with respect and decorum, give them a meal, and help them be nice. You remember how you used to go on a date with your spouse and you took out time to dress and make up and get ready. Not necessarily makeup, but you put yourself together so you could come out with your best foot, and suddenly you guys want to go out now and you're like, what's the big deal? Let me just tie this scarf and wear the short knicker, and where are we going to now? So, and the only reason why you would dress up is if you're going to see other people that you now want or you're not taking for granted. So the special person is not what the special person. The people who see you outside are the special people. One of the lies that happens and that says familiarity in relationship is when we say we just want to be ourselves. In fact, one of the lies you will tell yourself is that one of the reasons that you want to marry somebody you can be yourself with. And when you say that, let me explain what that means. When you say you want to marry somebody you want to be yourself with, you're not saying you want to marry somebody who will see you for who you are and help you grow to the best version of who you want to be. You're not saying you want to marry somebody who will say, okay, this area is not good, you need to improve on it. No, that's not what you're saying. Because when you met them, you wanted to bring your best foot forward first. But what you are saying is like this. So I always like to imagine when you say you want to be yourself to mean this. So imagine man. So this man now is, so I'm just going to draw a face. Yeah? Okay, let me just do this like I usually do. So human beings have hairs. You know, most human beings, all human beings have hairs. In one way or the other, in any part of their body. But right now, I'm just going to imagine the head and the face. So when you say you want to marry somebody who will just take you the way you are, so what it means is that your hairs will just be growing. 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, whether you're a human or man, the hair is just growing. 5 months, 6 months, it's just growing. Take me the way you are. 8 months, it's just growing. It's beginning to enter your face. Take me the way you are. 9 months, 1 year, 3 years, we cannot really see your eye again. Only your nose is showing. 4 years, so you're just like this. This is how you are. That's how we all are. Without a shave, without making your hair, without a barbing salon, that's how we all are. Our hairs will grow. So even people who have beards that are groomed that you like it, they shave it. It is groomed. So they're not really expecting anybody to accept them the way they are. They do something about the way they are so people can accept them. So what you are really saying when you say, I want to marry somebody who will take me the way they are, or please now allow me be myself. This is what yourself, this is an image of yourself look like. So every time anybody says, allow me be myself, the image I have in my head is, are you saying that you would literally allow the hairs on your face to grow, on your head and on your face to grow without grooming? Because that's yourself. So if you won't do that to your hair, why do you want to do that to your relationship? Why do you want to do that to your relationship? If you won't do that to your hair, why do you want to do that to your relationship? Why do you want to maintain habits that are not healthy? Why do you want to maintain a posture that is not okay? Because that posture is a guise that make you think that familiarity is okay. Who you are is somebody who is grumpy in the morning. That's me, by the way. Or that's who I used to be. You wake up in the morning and I don't like waking up in the mornings. I don't like waking up in the mornings. It's just something that doesn't really work for me. So, but because I have to go to school or do other chores, they wake me up in the morning and I don't like it. So I'm grumpy. I grew up, I now carry that attitude and I took it to adulthood. So I come out in the morning and people are around and I don't say anything to them. And that's who I am. So I tell my wife, take me the way I am. I just laugh in the morning. This is it. No trimming, hairs all everywhere. This is how you are. Because familiarity is telling you that you don't want to do the work. Because if it is not familiarity, when we were not married, I used to call her in the morning. And I used to smile. If I don't call her, I send a text message and I'll put smiley emoji. I was thinking of you in the night. Then suddenly we were married. I said, take me the way I am. And the way I am is that if I had come with the bushes on my face and said I don't smile in the morning, you probably won't have married me. Because you're insistent for buying the lie that you want to remain the way you are without grooming is an insistent to, you are insisting to dishonor the person that you say you love. You are insisting to dishonor the relationship that you say you love. You get a job and you arrive early the first 2 months, and suddenly 3 months, 4 months down the line, you start finding excuses to come late. Familiarity are setting, and familiarity is a crack to your relationship. Familiarity is a crack to your relationship. The friend is always there. So you have a friend who you always show up in their house and they always give you food to eat, and you don't think one day you should show up with food yourself? You're taking it for granted, bro. Familiarity is setting in. You're with your siblings and all you are doing is rivalry, complaining, comparing. Familiarity is setting in and you're taking it for granted, and it's going to create cracks in your relationships. This one special spouse has now just been somebody that you just wake up every day to and you don't care. You are missing the miracle of waking up to somebody on the bed. It's a gift to have somebody you can turn to and wake up. You are so familiar that you have the temerity to take and disrespect the person that you are married to, that you will sleep on the same bed overnight and your body will not touch each other. And oh Lord, we make abnormality normal and we start doing skits about it. People post 1 year of relationship. The wife is always kissing the husband. Oh, baby, I love you, I love you. Then they post 6 months. He gives 2 pegs. Then they post 1 year later. He gives 1 peg. Then they post 2 years. He just says, I. And we're laughing. And we say, it's okay. We've certainly accepted a misnomer as what is supposed to be normal. And it's going to break the relationship. And yet we entertain it. Yet we entertain it. And Jesus could do no mind. So imagine somebody who came to heal, save, and set them free. Couldn't even help them get the healing. Did you think people in his hometown didn't need healing? They did. But they couldn't do that because familiarity breeded dishonor. There's one particular story in the Bible that I really, 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 really love. Moses marries a woman and his elder sister. Remember, this elder sister is the same person, Miriam, who washed his basket when he was little and followed it till he got to the Pharaoh's place and called the mom. Now says, what's wrong with himself? Is he the only one that heard God? If I did not even wash the basket, he would have drowned. And she complains and mom. Moses didn't even hear. She and Aaron was doing this complaining and murmuring about Moses' action. God heard them. And God judged them. God called them in front of Moses and said, how are you complaining in front of this guy? I'm paraphrasing. Why are you complaining about my relationship with him? He's special to me. We talk face to face. God did not just judge. God strikes Miriam with leprosy. She became white all over. He took Aaron telling Moses to pray, and Moses going to pray, and God healed her. Because you can think that your junior brother is, you know him too much to care about and to give him respect and honor. And that is going to drive a wedge and a crack in your relationship. So after a while, the same person who opens the door for you and you say, thank you. Oh, I love this so much. Will be the same person who opens the door and you are like, hey, you're supposed to open the door for me now. After a while, you that used to open door before, you stop opening door. Because, you've gotten the person. You are not chasing them to get them. You were going after them to be able to thrive with them. And you have to be willing to make adjustments where necessary every step of the way to avoid the trap of familiarity. So you have to be willing to wake up every day and say in your heart that, oh, I'm going to honor this person. You have to remember. Sit and remember. Oh, why? Why did I marry them? You can't allow the Jesus situation happen to you. The people who knows him from outside respect and honor him and draw all they have from him, and you who grew up with him in the same house cannot find the same for yourself. Your wife goes outside. Everybody claps for them. People are even complimenting your wife before you. Even me, I have to learn it. People say, oh, you look nice. And you don't know where compliment is. You're taking them from Cartel. Let me tell you one I'm learning. I'm learning to tell my wife, your hair is nice. Like, I'm learning it. I'm learning it. Like, I'm learning to say it. I see it and I think it, but I don't say it. So I'm learning to say it. Your hair is nice. Because how is somebody else going to say it outside and I can't say it inside? How am I opening the crack now for disrespect to set into my relationship and dishonor her? How? How do you make meals for your kids because you do it every day and now you think, oh, it's no more special? You're beginning to get familiar with the routine. You're beginning to get familiar with it. So even with your relationship with God, you can let familiarity set in. You know the way God talks to you, yeah? So you think you figured him out. You know, sometimes you can be familiar with God even with a song. You heard a song playing the other day, and in a moment in the song, you felt a very great connection with God. The next thing is that the next time that song is playing, you are looking forward to feeling the connection in that same moment again. You have boxed him to what is familiar to you. So you have reduced reference, you have reduced honor. Familiarity will do that to your relationship and it will begin to cause crack. Then you will get to the point where you would now say or imagine that you lost them before you knew their value. That's not God's design for your relationship. So if you are going to shave for people outside, shave for people inside. If you're going to say thank you to people outside, say thank you to people inside. Say thank you to people inside. Say thank you to people inside. Let me give you a task this week. Create a gratitude journal. Create a gratitude journal for each of your relationships. Each of your relationships, each of the people you love, create a gratitude journal. So weekly, daily, weekly, whatever works for you. Sit down and say, what am I saying thank you for? So, and when you say thank you, you don't need to show it to them, but be specific. Don't say, imagine your child just going to say, Daddy, thank you. Daddy, thank you. Mommy, thank you. Daddy, thank you. Thank you for what? Thank you for what? So today, thank you for listening to me. Today, thank you for putting out the trash. Like, be specific. Thank you for making the meal. Be specific. Some days, weekly, monthly, plan something special. A date. For them, a thank you date. Do a thank you dinner for the house. Be willing to be grateful. So gratitude is the antidote for familiarity. Be willing to vocally and in your attitude express gratitude and honor for the things the people keep doing for you. Another way to express honor and respect is to be willing to grow the areas you're not good. All of us, admittedly, we constantly have areas that we want to grow. You have a mentor and you just keep badging at the relationship, taking, receiving. Now, you know, for the mentor and mentee relationship, you work so hard to be able to get into your mentor's life. And now your mentor is speaking to you. Your mentor has brought you close. You've begun to see the humanity in your mentor. And now you're taking that relationship for granted. You think it's everybody that have the same access. Not everybody have the same access. Familiarity will make you lose access to doors that are open to you. Familiarities will create cracks that will make you lose your relationship. So today, practically begin to find honor. Plan special events. Ask them, is there any area that you need me to improve on? Ask them, ask people in your relationship. This week, ask them, is there any area you need me to improve on? Is there something I'm not doing that I can do better at? Is there something you need me to, start paying more attention to that I'm not paying attention to right now? No, you need to ask them. You need to ask them. Do you? I did it. I like clean spaces. I'm sure all of us like clean spaces, and places that are okay. So what happens is when my wife was coming to visit the house for the first time, I just made sure the place was extra clean. So when you now marry her, can you imagine that you don't have any effort in making the place extra clean? I don't know if your parents did this, but it's what my parents used to do. They used to have special pots that they don't use unless somebody was coming to visit us. As in, even the father of the house don't have access to that pot and those cutleries. When a special guest is coming to the house, they now go and bring it outside. I mean, the people in your house, don't they deserve same honor? Mommy, apologies, but that was not okay. That was not okay. It's familiarity. I mean, the people don't even know if that thing was special. And maybe the excuse would have been, oh, you want them to do something clean and okay. And at least use it to serve your family members once in a month. It won't go bad. It won't go bad. Be willing to groom your relationships. Be willing to groom areas. This week, pick one person. Pick one person. Pick one person and say, okay, who am I going to honor this week? So, I'll tell you this. One time, I usually pick somebody's call anytime they call me. And I mean anytime they call me. And I really don't like taking calls that much. Then these people can call me 12, 2 o'clock, like in the morning. Just randomly, I just keep picking their calls. And they will talk, and I will try and respond, and they will talk, and I'll try and respond, and they'll talk, and I'll try and respond. And one day, I couldn't pick the call. I saw a long message the next morning on how I let them down. You want me to be honest with you? Which I have to always be honest with you anyway. I stopped taking their calls completely from that day. They were taking my availability for granted. They're taking my availability for granted. So everybody have a breaking point. Don't let your relationship get to that breaking point where you've allowed familiarity push you to that point. Some people, it takes them the first time. Some people, it takes them a week. Some people, it takes them a year. Some people, it takes them a few decades. But every relationship has a breaking point. If you don't deal with familiarity and always maintain honor and respect in your relationship, you will lose that relationship. So, if a relationship is not important to you, whether it's your siblings, your boss, your friends, all right, go ahead. Let familiarity run. I guarantee you, you're going to lose that relationship. It might take a while, but I guarantee you, you'll lose that relationship. If you want this relationship to thrive, which is why I think you're even watching this in the first place, deal with familiarity. Refuse to take any day of your life like the same day yesterday. Refuse to wake up in the morning and say, I have a routine, I know how to work. Refuse to say, I have a plan, I will always go like this. Refuse to take anything for granted. Not just people, everything about you. Today is not the same like yesterday. It's not the same. It's not the same. Today is a fresh day and you don't know what will happen. So refuse to take it for granted. Be grateful for people, things that you have and experience. Be willing to be the person who people are glad that they're in a relationship with because you don't abuse privilege and access. In case you want me to remind you or you've forgotten, your spouse is a privilege to you. They're a gift. You didn't earn them. And if in case you earn them, maybe you're not supposed to marry them. Your kids, they are privileges, they are gifts. Your siblings, they are privileges, they are gifts. Your boss, they are privileges, this is a gift. The friends you have, they're a gift to you. Do not take them for granted. Don't fall into the trap of familiarity. Don't get comfortable to the point where you begin to dishonor and disrespect the people you have. And don't buy into the lie that you are just trying to be yourself. Yourself, your real self, is a self that would always need to keep growing and improving. And I hope this will help you and help change the direction of one of your relationships this week. My name is Ini, and as always, I love you. Bye-bye.